want to welcome everyone to the weekly meeting of the Rotary Club of Jonesboro, our second hybrid meeting. So hopefully this one will go as well as the first one did, but glad everyone can make it. All right, inspirational moment. The greatness of a community is most accurately measured by the compassionate actions of its members. Coretta Scott King. Now we've got our four-way test. Please join me in that. Is it true? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? And then our vision. Together we see a world where people unite, take action to create lasting change across the globe in our communities and in ourselves. And then just to let you know, I know we have, before we do our guest here, yeah, please be seated. I'm sorry. I like everybody. I've been used to sitting while we're doing it. So, just so I'll let you know, there's about, well, I guess we've got a couple of those, but about 12 or 11 people online with us. So, I'm glad y'all can make it as well. So, and now we will move to, if I can get it to move, to our program. We'll have Jill Clarkson introduce our speakers.
Okay, it is my honor to introduce Lindsey Spencer and her husband, Jackson Spencer. I kept emailing her and I would call him like Spencer Jackson because I thought I got mixed up. But anyway, so they are a lovely couple and I'm so proud to know them now. She is an ASU graduate and she ran cross country. And she is a native of Hot Springs, and currently she is the manager of creative content for MOR Media. They run Premier Magazine. They have the new, or relatively new, Jack and Jill radio station, and other entities and publications that she's going to speak to us about briefly before Jackson takes the floor. And so at this point, I'd like to have her come up and she's going to say a few words and then she's going to introduce her other half.
Hello. I'm going to try to stay here so that the people watching on Zoom can see, but I like to move around and talk, so I apologize in advance. But yes, I am Lindsey, and this is my husband, Jackson. And I think if I hit the space bar, will it move to our first slide? Will that work? Okay, perfect. So just a little bit about us first. We met at Gearhead Outfitters in 2015, I think. We spent a few years working as managers at Gearhead, and we loved it because we love the outdoors. We love being adventurous. And we fell in love and kind of moved around. We lived in Springfield and Tulsa, very, very cool cities. And I guess in early 2019, we were talking about moving back to Jonesboro. And I'll be real honest with you, we were visiting family for New Year's and we said, can we leave Tulsa to move back to Jonesboro? Because we love Tulsa, it was a great fit for us. Just the lifestyle and the attitude there. And I said, no, I said, I don't want to leave this city. And we kept talking about it for a little bit longer. And we were called to follow our dreams, and that was to own something of our own. I wanted to write full time, and finally we decided we wanted to be closer to family too, and that is what Jonesboro held for us. And so we made a leap, and we left our jobs. So rewind just a little bit. We're sitting on our deck in Tulsa talking about this move and the potential for following our dreams. And I said, you know what? The difference in people who talk about their dreams and have big dreams and the people that live their dreams is a decision to just do it and just make that choice. And it was scary to leave our stable jobs to move back, but we did. And our next couple of years looked like that, or our next couple months, really. So we traveled, we went to Colorado, we went to Florida, we went to Ireland, and that's where we ended up getting engaged. We did a lot of fun things. We moved into our now home, which is in the west end of Jonesboro, a home that Jackson and his dad restored. It needed a lot of work, but they did it, and it is now a beautiful place for us to call home. So if there's one thing I could tell anyone who's thinking about something they want to do, it would be, just do it. That is the difference. Just go for it. Whatever your dream is, whatever it looks like, just go for it. So thinking about Jonesboro and what it was lacking, what we thought we couldn't leave Tulsa for, we said, okay, there are cool cities where you can live and you can appreciate all this work that other people have put in, or you can live somewhere that needs some improvement and you can be part of making it cool. Cool places don't just happen. It took a lot of people working really hard to make them that way. So we decided we would be part of improving Jonesboro and making it the kind of place that we could call home for years to come. And we started thinking about that vision for ourselves. And I began a job with More Media pretty quickly after moving back to Jonesboro. And I landed in my dream job, honestly. I could not have imagined that for myself, but that's just a testament to when you take a chance, you just might find yourself in the perfect spot. So I now manage Premier Magazine. And then thanks to my boss, I was able to launch a brand new platform called Explore More NEA. And it's all about where to eat, shop, and play in Northeast Arkansas, because even though I thought that I couldn't move back to Jonesboro, that there wasn't enough to do, I was happy to find that there was a lot more than I realized. And maybe there's a lot more than other people realize. So if we could highlight those things, we could help them thrive. And that is what Explore More is designed to do. At after hours with the Chamber of Commerce, I kept running into people that I knew, and I realized I probably should have invited my husband to this social event. So I texted him to come on down, and he ran into an old family friend who said, there's recent legislation that will allow for a microbrewery in a dry county. And that is the beginning of Native Brew Works, which I will let him talk to you about.
Hello, everyone. This is the part she allows me to talk about. So, but if you don't know, my name is Jackson Spencer. I'm currently unemployed. But I'm just making my own employment. So we were at this thing at the glass factory and ran into an old family friend, and she told me about this legislation. And what's interesting is Dustin, which is the guy with the beard in the middle, him and I had talked about opening a brewery back in 2013, 14, when we first started home brewing, because we thought we had a really cool thing going on, but it just wasn't feasible. The legislation wasn't there. So we moved back, found out about this. First thing I did was call him and say, hey, dude, let's open a brewery. He goes, no. He was living in Memphis in Cooper Young, and had an engineer. And but it was funny. I went back and looked at text messages. It took 4 days for him to change his mind, so it didn't take very long. After that, I reached out to Heath Gammil. He's sitting right there, and we started putting together a business plan and ideas, and trying to find out where to put this thing. And luckily, we put it on G Street, and I think it's a really cool area. We'll talk more about that here in just a second. But we're really excited about this, in particular because this is something that Jonesboro doesn't have. If you've ever traveled, which I'm sure most of you have, a lot of communities are defined by their culture. And I think what comprises that culture is the local flavors, the local arts and entertainment. And we have some good restaurants here, but we don't have any good beverages. And that's part of that local flavor. So getting to do something like that, having an outdoor space, and rehabbing an older building in a part of town that really needs it, really spoke to all of us. So we're located at 515 South G Street. This was, for all the old timers, it was Brandon's Auto Parts store. That's what a lot of people remember this as. Since then, it was a Benjamin Moore paint dealer, and then it was a women's resale boutique. We had we went with neon for our sign because, come on, guys, this is like the 60s here, so we had a little nod. You notice that it just says Native and not Native Brew Works. We are still in a dry county, and there's just some things we can and can't do because of the way the legislation's written. So for all intensive purposes, we're known as Native. But once you get inside, we'll be branded as Native Brew Works. This is the outdoor space. This is actually after we cleaned it up. So it was a mess. But I don't know if we have, we put in some sod and then started working on the fence and the covered patio on the back. So just trying to create something that, you know, we got to experience in other places that we just don't necessarily have here in Jonesboro. You can see the colors inside were very nice. We wanted to keep the pink, but I think they decided against it. So.
Vetoed.
So a cool thing about that fence, so there was a drop ceiling in here, and we pulled down every board from that drop ceiling, pulled out the nails, pulled out the staples and everything, and repurposed it to build that fence that you saw. There's a lot of stories about that, about how we've built this thing. That's kind of from that point looking forward, what it looks like.
This was like 4 days ago, this picture. So that's pretty recent. It's coming along.
It's like a little more ways to go.
So I'd like to comment, and you may want to add to this, but when we lived in Tulsa, we lived in a really cool little neighborhood, a strip of old buildings, and it was not downtown, but it resembled downtown. It had old architecture, little restaurants and shops. And it made us think that, you know, cool cities too, they don't just have one area. The downtown needs to be awesome, no doubt about it. And our downtown is doing a great job of that, I think. But a great city needs pockets and a reason to go to that city so that you can hop to downtown and then hop to another area and then maybe one more area before you leave. And G Street resembled that area to us. It has that character in its buildings. It still has some really great businesses down there. There's 2 awesome vets down there. We take our dogs down there. There is Forest Office Supplies. There's Presley's. There's still some really great businesses there. And there's some buildings that definitely need some love. And that is what we saw. So they had already decided to put the brewery on G Street, and I'm a runner. So I was running down there every now and then with my friend Bethany. And I said, look at that building. That just looks like it should be a coffee shop. And I love to tell people, you know, most people might have a business idea and then try to go figure out where to put the business. We bought a building and then thought, oh goodness, we need to figure out the business side of things now. So we banded forces, and Bethany and her husband Brent are our business partners in this venture. And we came up with Story Coffee House. Story because we want books to be a very important aspect of the atmosphere, because we want it to be the kind of place that people sit down and share their stories with each other. And because we have a story, our town has a story, this building has a story. So this is what it looked like before it got all cleaned up. It just has a lot of character to it, those old stones and everything. And we bought it from the Schisler family, Donna Schisler, the sweetest lady. It was still in the family that she married into. And she's been super helpful in consulting us on what we need to do moving forward. This is after it had just been power washed, just cleaned up a little bit. And we took down, you see in this one that the garage door had been like covered up. We uncovered it, and then we even put in a glass garage door. So this is the old one, and this is the new one, 2 different pictures there. But it brings a lot of light into the space and cleans it up a good bit. This is inside. It had dropped ceilings, and we told someone they could have them if they would just come take it out for us, and they did. And so now we have a lifted ceiling that is just a lot more interesting to look at. We're trying to open the whole space up, and we will paint it white. We will have lots of plants, and this will be our coffee house. So a little bit about, we like to say the word revitalizing, and we hear the word gentrification a lot. And I want to be clear about something. Gentrification is defined as the process whereby the character of a poor urban area is changed by wealthier people moving in, improving housing, and attracting new businesses, typically displacing current inhabitants in the process. by definition, even though I would love to, attract new businesses and improve things down there, we are not wealthy at all. We have scraped together our savings to invest in these ventures, but we definitely don't want to displace anyone either. That is not what this is about. We want to revitalize, which is the action of imbuing something with new life and vitality. We are trying to bring new life to this street, to buildings that seem to have been forgotten. But this is not about pushing anyone out. It's just about cleaning everything up. So if you leave here today and talk to about G Street to anyone, please say revitalizing. Let's open it. Let's see if we can get some crowd interaction here. What do you remember about G Street? Does anyone have any memories of things that were on G Street?
Chalmers had it was the previous version of 7-Eleven type thing.
Yeah, awesome.
Back up to the beach.
Okay. What else?
The West Park Restaurant, the motel and the Milky Way.
Milky Way. We hear that a lot.
There was a Holiday Inn when I first came here. I stayed at the Holiday Inn, and then I was interviewed at Arkansas State.
Awesome.
I was told the Holiday Inn was just down the street from Grandpa's Restaurant.
We've heard Grandpa's a lot too. Yeah, heard that was awesome.
I'm too young to remember that, but my parents tell me that. Everybody needs to remember that's where 100% of the traffic came from, coming into Jonesboro from the north. We all came in right down there, past Rice, across the railroad tracks, and then through the 63 and in the 50s, early 60s. That was a hopping place because it really attracted everyone out there.
Yeah, I've heard it was the bypass. Like that's that's what it acted as. Any more? So we opened up that question on Facebook and on Instagram for Native, and it just went crazy. I posted pictures of what I could squeeze on here, but there were so many more comments. We've definitely seen an interest, and people get excited that we're doing something down there. But I want to thank, first of all, for being here. We really appreciate y'all. There is clearly a lot of people that are excited about what we're doing and eager to help and get involved. But I do want to be honest about something, because I hope that the people in this room and anyone you talk to can help us moving forward, not us, but help the city moving forward. The city itself has not taken much initiative at all to talk to us, we don't mean bend over backwards to help us make our business, but it's very hard, I think, for any small business to get started here. And going through these projects has made me realize why there's not as many small businesses here as we think there should be. And it's because there's so many hoops and red tape and things that you have to jump over and through. And cool cities want cool businesses. And so we have to make it as easy as possible for people who have great ideas and have the work ethic to make it happen. Let's make it happen. Not everyone can, read all this legislation and do this and do this and do this. They just want to make a cool business, and they want to do it the right way. So how can we make it easier for them to do so? And if we want cool businesses, we're going to have to make that happen in some way. Because having been through it, it's tiresome, and opening a business is hard enough. You shouldn't have to do all these other things that may or may not matter. Do you want to touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, I think just kind of boils down to is it should be as easy as possible. Maybe not easy as possible, but you want to feel welcomed. And I think there's a lot of avenues that cities can do to attract small local businesses and be very inviting to that. And just for an example, we were propositioned by Parable to put this brewery there. A local business owner reached out with a city council member and the city attorney and tried to convince us to locate this in Marigold. And that was really flattering. And we do have plans to maybe do something there one day, but we wanted to do it in our hometown. And it's not just for us, but I think for other people that want to do cool things, but not know how to and how to fight that. It'd be really nice to have the city of Jonesboro and city officials and other business leaders to found a way to help and make that as more inclusive, I guess I can say. There's a lot of people out there that have a lot of really cool ideas, but we're just dumb enough to keep going, I guess. So we're going to keep doing it, and having partners as well, having other people there that you can section things off and compartmentalize it. So I think that's all I have on that plea.
All right. So what else does G Street or Jonesboro need? This is, of course, our opinion. We think every great neighborhood needs a great grocery store, a bakery, several restaurants, a few places to shop, a farmer's market, and a park. We think G Street could use a few less doubters and skeptics and a few more visionaries. We believe Jonesboro has a few too many big chains and big parking lots. We need more small businesses, more unique places that will attract visitors, more sidewalks, more green spaces, more green ways. I could get off on a whole nother tangent about that. And since cool places full of those great things don't just happen, you can find us fighting to make them happen here in the city that we call home. That is pretty much all we have for you. Does anyone have any questions?
I found Native on Facebook extremely easily, but I haven't found the story of Coffee House. Is that up and running yet? Social media?
Yes.
For our Zoom, could you just repeat the question?
Yes. He said he found Native pretty easily on Facebook and did not find Story as easily. It is on Facebook. We have not been as active because we're just barely getting started, and we want to be careful not to give too much away before we've jumped through the proper hoops and everything. But it is on there, and it's just Story Coffee House. Here, I had one more slide. That's where you can find more information about everything. But I can also send it to you if you're not able to find it, because Story is associated with a few other coffee things, so it might be hard until we have a lot of posts up to be able to find it. Okay, you got it.
And I will say with Native Brew Works, our Instagram is private because, like I said earlier about legislation, about what we can and can't do. There's a lot of things we can't say on social media because it's considered advertising. But since we've made our Instagram private, we can actually show you pictures of beer. So,
will the brews actually be made on site?
he asked, will the brews be made on site? Yes. So it is a microbrewery restaurant. So we have a space dedicated where you'll see the big stainless steel vats and tanks, and all of our beers will be brewed on site.
How long? Hey.
He asked how long does it take? It depends on the type of beer, but anywhere from 7 to 14 days to boil, to ferment, and then to condition and serve.
You mentioned the Story dealing with books. What is that going to be? Bookstore or bringing people books in for people to share?
We hope that it will also involve a bookstore. So originally that was our plan, to have a coffee shop and bookstore in the exact same space. We just realized that they're two separate businesses, and we want to focus on doing one thing really well rather than trying to divert our attention to many places. So we said, let's focus on the coffee. And we found someone who we might be partnering with to do the books. It's a little too early to announce that or anything, but the building is actually 3 different sections. So she might take a section of it and have a bookstore, and whereas books will just be part of our atmosphere. And we'd love to have a book trade. You can take a book, leave a book, or, if you really want it, you can just have it. We want people reading. So, but we would love to have a bookstore in that building as well.
Speaking of the books, would you be, when you get it set up and ready for books, would you take donations of books when someone is clearing out, say, a small library?
Wow, yeah, absolutely. I love books in general, and What is it?
Repeat the question.
Oh, sorry. She asked, would we take book donations if someone was cleaning out a small library? That would be awesome. We just want more people reading. And I hope that there's a successful bookstore in our building, but also if we just have books that are free for people to take, that would be awesome. I went to the library book sale the other day and bought a whole bag for $2, and it just, so they're just exciting. So if someone comes in and just picks up a book, that'd be great. So if we got donations, we could make that happen, way more often, and that would be awesome.
Lindsay, I was just gonna hey, for you folks on Zoom, if y'all want to ask a question, let us know.
Oh, if you're on Zoom and you want to ask a question. Real quick about our more info here. So of course, Explore More has Facebook, Instagram, and a website. Native has Facebook and Instagram, and it will have a website very soon. Same with Story Coffee House. And then that one on the bottom is just my personal blog that I do write about like what we're going through and, what it's like both from the business side and also just the picture, the interesting things to look at side. So feel free to check that out as well.
So I can talk about it, I think. Are you looking at June opening or July, or when do you think in the summer for the brewery?
She asked about opening of the brewery.
It's hard to put like an actual date down, but yeah, we're hoping for like July. As everyone knows, or as a lot of people know, it's hard to give when it's closer we get, the more we'll know. So.
What about the coffee shop?
She asked about opening in the coffee shop. We are shooting for January of 2022. That's kind of quick, but after seeing everything with the brewery, we feel a little more experienced going into this. And also the coffee shop is immensely more simple. We don't have to get a liquor license, and we don't have to put in a full kitchen and all of that stuff. So we're hopefully that will move a little bit quicker. We'll see.
One comment from Lily Fears says, I know Lindsay, one of my best students. Sign Team Lindsay.
Oh, thank you. Love that.
So just a comment, this is the most exciting thing I've heard going on G Street in Florida.
Thank you. Thank you. We appreciate it.
Okay. All right.
Thank y'all.
All right. Thanks, Lindsay and Jackson, for coming all right, I'm sorry. Spencer, Lindsay and Jackson Spencer. I had that right. I tried to flip it around. So thanks for coming and sharing that with us. And hopefully things will really take off for you. You get that open and go well. So I know I've got a buddy that has a building down on D Street. So I'll have to talk to him to get in touch with y'all. So
You want to sell it?
he might. And thought for the day, growth is never by mere chance. It is a result of forces working together. James Cash Penny. And I said, don't have anything else for the day. Happy birthday, Marvin. So Rusty beat me to it earlier. So. And we will adjourn.